The Giants make another smart yet minor move in the outfield, and everybody is wondering, when are they going to spend money? Are they going to spend money? Let's talk about it right here on Locked On Giants.
You are Locked On Giants, your daily San Francisco Giants podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, y'all? I'm Alan Stiles. Welcome to Locked On Giants, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network, thanks to you. On the show, we provide daily episodes Monday through Friday, talking about the San Francisco Giants in a way that combines passion, analytics with the eye test, and a little bit of fun. I'm from the Bay Area, but I live in Sacramento now, and I host a show at Sacktown Sports 1140, the Alan Stiles Show. Be sure to check that out, as well as emceeing Sacramento River Cats games. All in all, I'm lucky enough to cover a team I've been a fan of all my life. Today, we are discussing the Giants making another minor deal in the outfield that could end up major. We will have to wait and see on that. The other roster moves that they made right before everyone hit the weekend. And last but not least, they continue to add to their coaching staff, and they continue to use the Tennessee Volunteer Program as a means to do so. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Happy Monday to everyone. I know that the holidays are around the corner, Thanksgiving and all of that. So we are really excited to get this news out to you as we break down what the Giants did. Of course, they made a move after I had put out the Friday show, and a Friday news dump is normally what goes down and how a lot of these teams, not just in baseball, but a lot of these teams in pro sports approach it. So the Giants trade for Joey Wiemer. We'll also discuss Andrew Knizner, who they designated for assignment. We'll discuss the rest of those moves in the next segment. But the Giants acquired Joey Wiemer. All right, this is from MLB Trade Rumors. The Giants acquired outfielder Joey Wiemer from the Marlins in exchange for, and as Alex Pavlovich said, their old friend cash considerations. Miami designated the former top prospect for assignment earlier in the week when setting its roster ahead of the deadline to protect players from the Rule 5 draft. San Francisco designated catcher Andrew Knizner for assignment in a corresponding roster move. Now 26 years old, Wiemer was the Brewers' 4th-round pick in 2020. He appeared on the back end of MLB.com's top 100 prospect list in both 2022 and 2023, but has seen his stock dwindle since that time. Wiemer has appeared in parts of 3 major league seasons between the Brewers, Reds, and Marlins. He popped 13 homers and swiped 11 bags as a rookie in 23, but did so with poor rate stats. All right. Beyond his above average power versus lefties, which I think is a huge reason there were 2 main reasons the Giants made this move. One was his defense, and the second was his ability to hit lefties for power. That's something that the Giants really struggled with. Wiemer is capable of playing all 3 outfield spots and doing so at a fairly high level. Even bearish scouting reports on him over the years have labeled him as a potential plus defender. Defensive metrics bear that out. He has positive marks in all 3 spots individually and a collective 11 defensive runs saved and 7 outs above average in 1,249 innings of outfield work at the big league level. Here is what's interesting. Wiemer is out of minor league options, so he'll need to stay on San Francisco's 40-man roster all offseason and break camp with the team, or else be designated for assignment once again. He can't be sent to the minors without first passing through waivers. For now, he projects as a possible bench option who could platoon with lefty swinging Drew Gilbert in right field if the Giants don't make a larger scale addition at the position. Okay, so similar to Luis Matos, Wiemer, both of them are out of options. And this is from Jeff Young. In addition to occasional power and quality defense, Joey Wiemer is also a pretty decent runner. He has 84 steals and 99 opportunities in the minors. He does a few things well that is weighed down by well below average hit tool. So there is the breakdown on Joey Wiemer, and the theme continues, right? Let's go get defense. Let's go get better where we need to be better. Let's go get defense. We weren't great at defense. Let's go get lefty hitting, right? Not left-handed hitting, but hitting against lefties because we weren't good at that. That's something where Joey Wiemer has excelled. I was watching some of his highlights yesterday, and he's an electric player, right? And the word on the street is that he might be a Hunter Pence type of guy, hair on fire. He sounds to me like a righty Drew Gilbert. That's what he sounds like to me, right? The same type of swag, the same type of approach, which is funny because all of these guys are also other versions and other dimensions of the other guy we talked about, Harrison Bader. So when I look at this, I don't have a problem with the Giants going out and deciding to get better in minor ways. I do wonder at what point will they just say, hey, we do need to add an MLB proven bat. That's my biggest thing. The defense is great, right? But Drew Gilbert could give you defense. Grant McCray could give you defense. You have defensive outfielders on the team. You're looking for somebody that can do both. Justin Dean can give you defense. So that's two guys that they've added to this roster, and a lot of the conversation has become, okay, what does this mean for a possible larger move? Does that mean a larger move is not going to come? I don't necessarily think so. I think these are guys that they want to see whether or not they impress them at camp and all of the different opportunities that they're going to have, and see if they can find a diamond in the rough. What's funny is, as I say that, though, the offseason is the offseason. So if you go out and go get Harrison Bader, there's only so many spots. There's only so much playing time, even with spring training. The larger question, and I know a lot of people are wondering, is, well, what does this mean for Kyle Tucker? And I never really thought the Giants were going to get Kyle Tucker. To me, I've called their bluff on some of the pitching stuff. And I know that they might even still kind of bargain hunt in a different way. Just when I say bargain hunt, that means, maybe not the top of the free agent draft class, but I don't necessarily mean that they're just going to grab guys that are similar to Joey Wiemer, just the pitching versions. I've called out their bluff just because I still don't necessarily believe it. When it comes to hitting, though, I do believe them. And I've said before that I believe them because they are already spending money on hitters, right? And if you look around the league outside of the Dodgers, you spend money on, 5, 6 big positions, right? That's normally how it goes. You need other guys to step up. So I do believe that they aren't going to make a move for Kyle Tucker. Anything can happen, of course. And I do believe that Cody Bellinger is probably too expensive for them. So that is the approach that I believe that they will have from a position player standpoint. If you even bring in a Harrison Bader or somebody like that, that to me is where this thing gets a little bit confusing with all the guys they're bringing in, unless there's something that I'm missing with right field. But sounds like 2 more guys have been added. And Justin Dean, he obviously, all these guys can play every position. And I think the Giants really have done that on purpose, right? But Justin Dean, now Joey Wiemer, I guess that means that this is the end, or this is most likely the end. I was reading what Pavs had to say, and there are a lot of different decisions that the Giants will have to make because of who is still on the roster and who may be on the roster when the roster is actually when it's actually go time. I think it's a fine move. I don't have a problem with it. It just isn't going to make the people in the fans in my comments that say this feels like Farhan, this feels like kind of bargain bin shopping. It's not going to make them feel better, but he does have a level of pop, so we'll see what happens there. On the other side, let's talk about the other roster moves that the Giants made over the weekend, or right before the weekend. More Locked On Giants coming up. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com, sign up, and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. I have to tell y'all about my favorite jeans, my Doers. Seriously, they've changed my life. Right now, I'm wearing the Performance Denim Slim Straight, and I cannot get over how comfortable these jeans are. I've been reaching for my Doers for everything, running errands, grabbing dinner with friends, even heading to the ballpark, because they look great and feel even better. Here's the thing. Doer jeans have 5 times the stretch of traditional denim, so you can actually move in them. They're also antibacterial, which means they stay fresh longer, wear more, wash less. And they're made with Cool Max technology that helps regulate body temperature and wick moisture, so you stay cool and comfortable as the day changes. Honestly, they feel as stretchy as my favorite joggers, but look like I'm dressed to go out on the town. Doer is all about combining classic jeanswear style with athletic level comfort and performance. It's the best of both worlds. They actually pioneered the original performance denim, blending technical innovation with everyday clothing that looks sharp and feels incredible. Simply put, Doer makes the world's most comfortable pants without sacrificing style. Once you try them, they'll be your go-to pair. Trust me. And if you're in San Francisco, check out Doer's store at 567 Hayes Street. Pick up a pair for yourself or grab one as an amazing holiday gift. Mention my promo code LOCKEDONSF in store to get 15% off your first order, or shop online at shopdoer.com/LockedOnSF for that same 15% off. That's shopdoer.com/LockedOnSF. Your new favorite jeans are waiting. So real quick, before we move on, I realized I didn't give you the stats for Joey Wiemer in 2025 and just for his career. For 2025, 55 at-bats, 13 hits, 3 home runs, 236 batting average, 7 runs scored, 12 RBIs, no stolen bases, with an OPS of 715. For his career, 448 at-bats, 92 hits, 16 home runs, 205 batting average with 57 runs, 54 RBIs, and 12 stolen bases with the 638 OPS. So again, clearly not a diamond in the rough per se, but clearly somebody that they're going to try to see what they can do, and can he kind of take that next step offensively, but defensively they feel solid about where he is at. Other moves in this roster roundup that got dropped on Friday, other moves that went down. So yeah, they DFA'd Andrew Knizner. They non-tendered Joey Lucchesi, and then they tendered JT Brubaker a contract for 2026. The most surprising move to me here was Joey Lucchesi. He just felt like the guy, and I know it was a tough season pitching-wise, but he did, and I'm not even looking at the stats right now, but it just felt like when the Giants just needed to eat innings, Joey Lucchesi was there for them. Now, they might want something more than that at this point in time with how things have kind of worked out for them or not worked out for them this past season, just pitching wise. But yeah, I felt like he did a decent job. And my question is, okay, well, if you are moving on from somebody like that, you must have something else planned. JT Brubaker, we spent time talking about him. He bounced around a little bit, and I thought he came in and did a good job. I think they see him as another long relief type, maybe can even open a game or two if need be. So I understand why they decided to hold on to him. But I was a little surprised at the non-tendering of Joey Lucchesi. As far as Andrew Knizner is concerned, Knizner 31 in February. And again, this is from MLB Trade Rumors. Knizner was eligible for arbitration and projected to earn $1.3 million next year. The journeyman backstop hit 221, 299, and 299 in 88 trips to the plate with the Giants this season. He's improved upon formerly poor framing grades in recent seasons, but struggles to block pitches in the dirt and control the run game. Knizner is a career 211, 281, 316 hitter and 975 plate appearances during his big league career. So that is who Andrew Knizner is. I got to see him a good bit in Sacramento. We've talked about the backup catcher position at length here, just about who can back up Patrick Bailey and where the Giants should go from there. So this isn't terribly surprising. We know that Jesus Rodriguez is waiting in the wings, and I know I was going back and forth with a commenter on how confident I am in Jesus Rodriguez. I don't know if Jesus Rodriguez can hit at the big league level. I just know he can hit at the AAA level, and he gets knocks. That's all I know, because that's what I've seen. But I have no clue what he'll be able to do at the big league level. This is also a situation where the Giants can look around. I don't think it has to straight up be, hey, it's your time as far as a backup is concerned. They can make other decisions before they have plenty of time before the 2026 season kicks off. But yeah, to me, you couldn't continue to not get anything from the backup position. You don't got to get much, but not continue to get anything. So some of the moves that were made, and the reality is nobody's going to be happy if you just continue to see and hear about these fringe moves. They want to see and hear some big deals, and I wouldn't worry too much quite yet until we see other teams making big moves, right? If some of these large names, and I know Shota, the qualifying offers and things like that, that's one thing. But once we see the dominoes start to fall, if the Giants, if they don't get brought up in any of this, or you start seeing the Bo Bichette's and the Framber Valdez's, if you start seeing those names drop, and of course we'll be with you when they do, and the Giants still aren't making any moves, that's when I would worry. I wouldn't worry quite yet. I think everybody, you have all these deadlines and the Rule 5 draft. You kind of clear that out a little bit, because obviously the Rule 5 draft is in December, but all these different rules about protecting players, and Major League Baseball has so many weird, random intricacies that it's not as clean as 4:00 on Tuesday, the NBA free agency starts, and great, now let's rock and roll. That's just not really how it works, right? And I don't know that it's great for the game. I think it's better for the game to literally have 4 p.m. hit, and wow, Framber Valdez already had a deal, didn't really know about it, but obviously him and his camp did, and he signs. I think it is better for the game than this kind of slow burn, if you will, but it'll happen. It'll happen. So right now they're working around the fringes, not just the Giants. Everyone is. The question is, where do the Giants come into play, and what exactly are the Giants going to look at from a financial standpoint, because they keep crossing us up with what is really their intention. So those are some of the moves made. Let's get to the final segment, and in that final segment we will discuss more additions to the coaching staff, and again, it comes by way of the Tennessee Volunteers. One more segment with you, more Locked On Giants coming up. Thank you for making Locked On Giants your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. NFL season is back, and honestly, there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans cheering on your teams. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle. Between queues, login screens, and prices jumping up at checkout, it's frustrating. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. I pulled up Game Time, and in just a couple taps, I saw amazing deals. I'm talking about your favorite NFL games as low as $100. The app made it super simple. I could even see the exact view from my seat before buying. And I love zone deals. Pick the section, Game Time picks the seats, and you save big. Honestly, it's faster, cheaper, and less stressful than any other way I bought tickets. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go download Game Time today. And for our last segment today. The Giants make another move as far as the coaching staff is concerned. This is from Baseball America. Tennessee pitching coach Frank Anderson has informed university administrators of his intention to leave the Volunteers program to join the San Francisco Giants coaching staff, sources told Baseball America. And his departure continues a stretch of significant changes in Knoxville following former head coach Tony Vitello's move to San Francisco to become Giants manager last month. Tennessee director of pitching development Josh Reynolds is expected to be promoted to pitching coach. Anderson is regarded as one of the premier pitching developers in college baseball. He served as Oklahoma State's head coach from 2004 to 2012 and held assistant roles across the country dating back to 1984. Over his 4 decades in the college game, Anderson has coached 103 pitchers who were selected in the MLB draft, including 10 first rounders. 4 of those first rounders came at Tennessee, where Anderson helped build one of the nation's most consistent and aggressive pitching staffs. The Volunteers have produced at least 3 drafted pitchers in each of the last 4 years, including 5 selections in 2025. Anderson was named interim head coach in early October after Vitello left for the Giants. That might have been a little awkward. Tennessee, who promoted former associate head coach Josh Elander to head coach, hired Florida assistant Chuck Girolamo to fill its previous vacancy. The Volunteers also lost its performance director Quentin Eberhardt to the Giants this month. He was replaced by former MLB strength coach Keegan Knoll. So I think even just reading that, it's another reminder that a lot of these guys, there is a simpatico, if you will. There is a connection. There is a parallel between specifically SEC baseball and Major League Baseball. They lose a guy. Well, what do? They find somebody else who also has ties to Major League Baseball, right? I mean, that's just something that they have been continuing to do. And I think it makes a lot of people, or should make a lot of people, feel a little bit better based on the fact that the Giants made this move. That, yeah, it's going to be different. And like we said, Tony is headed to the Dominican Republic at some point to, start to learn more of that culture. So yeah, it is different, but at the same time, there are a lot of parallels and there are a lot of connections. This is from Kendall Rogers, who is the cream of the crop when it comes to college baseball. With news trickling out yesterday that Frank Anderson is leaving, I'm told his exact role will be Director of Pitching Performance Coordinator, with Justin Message as the pitching coach. So Director of Pitching Performance Coordinator. And I looked it up just in case you are curious. Yes, there are a ton of other director of pitching performance around the league. I looked up 2, to be specific. I looked up somebody with the Dodgers, and I looked up the Diamondbacks as well. So those 2 guys, or those positions, 2 other teams, it's a thing, right? I know some people are starting to get worried. Well, Alan, what's going on? Is he just adding his buddies? Well, maybe yes, but the thing is, his buddies are also really accomplished and really good at coaching baseball, and they all have a high level of pedigree, and they all have one goal, one sound, one approach, and that's winning. And they've already won together. So as much as it might be a little surprising, if you ask me, to be completely honest with you, a little bit more of a Tennessee rollover, if you will, or Tennessee follow through, if you will, with a lot of guys just coming over with Tony Vitello, a little bit more than I maybe initially expected. But yeah, nothing crazy and nothing that I think anyone should be worried about. This is a guy where you want to make sure that he feels comfortable. If Tony Vitello was a flash in the pan, and I don't think he would get hired anyway, but if he was a flash in the pan and the other guys that he was bringing in did not have their own cachet to them, then that would be one thing. But when you talk about the new director of player performance, right? The strength and conditioning guy, he was super accomplished. He was with the Cubs. The pitching coach, we know what he did. And now you have the director of pitching performance. They all won together. And I appreciate it a little bit. It reminds me of the Villanova boys with the Knicks, how, and I know they lost DiVincenzo, but how they won at Villanova and then they went to the Knicks, and no, they haven't won the whole thing, but they're doing pretty darn well every season. You know, they're making deep playoff runs. So it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. But the bottom line is accomplishments are accomplishments. And even if they're at the college level, these are guys, this is a team that is churning out major leaguers. So it's right there. This isn't a team that had no draft picks or nothing to stand on there. They're talking and they're having conversations with MLB scouts, agents all the time because of the level of talent that they are putting out at Tennessee. So it's not the same, but I do understand why Buster is saying, I feel comfortable adding a lot of these guys from the college staff, because this isn't your typical college staff. This isn't, a bunch of guys that aren't going to be playing at the next level. Majority of this team, it does feel like, ends up playing at the next level. So those are the kind of the coaching staff updates. And look, man, if you're going to go in a direction, go all in. I always joke, you can't do the double dutch thing. You know, you're playing double dutch and you're waiting to jump in. At least we can say that Buster Posey is fully jumping in. And he's still making sure, look, we got our Dusty Bakers. We have our Bruce Bochy's. We have guys like that too. But he is fully immersing himself in this experience, because that's what you have to do. If you're going to give the keys to a guy that has not ever coached in the major leagues before on any level, you might as well just say, you know what, bleep it. I'm going to go ahead and let this guy do his thing and let the chips fall where they may. I'm here if you need me, but I'm going to let the chips fall where they may. So those are your updates, more of a roster logistical show today. We will get back to the rumors and everything that we're hearing. There was a big one that I heard yesterday, but I wanted to save it. I heard it over the weekend, but I wanted to save it. I wanted to clear out everything that happened over the weekend in case some of y'all missed it. But tomorrow we will get back to the free agents, the rumors, the trades, all of that. Thank you for watching and listening to Locked On Giants. Be sure to follow me on social media at _StylesFiles with an I. It will be a good week. It might be a quick week for some of you, but we will be here for you because you know how we get down. We will talk to you tomorrow. Until then, peace.